Well, welcome everyone to Clobberin Times Wild Card Wednesday night for March 16th of 2022. And according to my register here, it looks like I'm all alone. That that's okay. I've done that before. I don't. Again, it could be StreamYards, it could be YouTube. I don't know, but it doesn't matter. I'm sure some of my friends will show up to keep me company eventually. Just probably just going to be me tonight. We'll see. But I see the Comic Relief Crusader was here first. Comic Relief Crusader, good to see you, man. D Bud Martin's here though, or at least he was. I mean, again, I can't tell by this thing, but D Bud, good to see you there, brother, and J Man as well. But J Man did say he could not stay. Good to see you, J Man. Though, good to see you there, brother. And so this could be the three of us right now. That's okay. We'll see if anybody else attends shows up. Okay, there you go. Wow. Uh, it's just not predictable on a Wednesday night, is it? So, who knows? Maybe some other friends will show up later, buddies. You just happen, just can never be sure, and that's just okay. We're gonna push on and persevere anyway. We'll wait, I guess, and see if anybody else does show. JT Kirk, there you go. The Comic Relief Crusader, you do exist, and keep it that way. Keep existing. Keep on existing, brother. That's all you can do, really. Let's just keep on existing. Janet. Well, I hope Janet as well. Decepticum, what is up, buddy? Good to see you there, bro. Oh, wait. Oh, man, there you are. It's always nice to see everyone. See friends pop in there. For everyone. Thanks who saw the who showed up for the spinner rack video today. There will be the secondary one out tomorrow. You know, I'm working on. I'm trying to work on so many other videos. You know, that one. It's time consuming. Kal-El, good to see you there, brother. Even though the spinner rack videos are time consuming, and it's still I enjoy doing them. I don't get any views, but it doesn't matter. I have fun doing them. Mexican Iron Man, what's up, brother? Speedy Gonzalez, the man. Mexican, what's up, buddy? The great Mexican Iron Man. Always a pleasure, bro. Good to see you, and thank you for what you did Monday night over here. It was just truly amazing, bro. But I got a couple of other videos I'm planning. Terry Rose, hey there. And I want to make a lot more videos. Of course, I always do. I'm not very good at making these things technically. Like I said, they take a long time to make. I mean, they take a long time to get all that so-called artwork ready for it, at least for the way I produce it. You know, I don't know. But I enjoy them. But there's a few more videos that I've got planned that I'm planning for a while now. I want to try to get out at least more than just the 2 videos a week. Of course, I stream so much, you know. This works out that way. But a big shout out to everyone who joined us Monday night. It was an amazing time. Hello there, Terry Rose and Snail Messiah. Snail Messiah, good to see you there, my friend. Always a pleasure. Let's see here. So tomorrow night, I don't know exactly what's going to go down tomorrow night for Clobby's Clubhouse, but I will be here for sure. Our wonderful first officer, RM, is not feeling that well. Raquel's not feeling that well. She hasn't been feeling that well since Saturday. So she, if she'll probably be hard-headed and insist on being here, and if she is, that's fine. Would love to have her here, but I'm not going to push her. I'm going to tell her to try to take the time off. But if she can't make it, but if she wants to, of course, I would love to have her here. We'll see how she feels. Unfortunately, our chief engineer, Mark D with a C, will not be here either. He's got some family stuff to take care of. But I'm going to do it anyway. The clubhouse will be open. Comic Relief Crusader says, thanks for Monday. It felt like I knew Mark. Well, thank you so much. Well, thank you for being there too, by the way. Zax, what's up, Zax? How you doing? Good to see you there, man. Thank you for popping in, buddy. Hulk villain. Always a pleasure, bub. Yes, I don't know if I'll have my 2 cohorts in crime for the clubhouse tomorrow night, but I'll be here either way. So it's just wait. Tonight's just kind of just the open. I didn't have time to put together a topic for tonight. That's why it's the wild card. But of course, anything anyone wants to ask about, if you have any questions or anything, feel free. I do have something to bitch about in a minute, though. I've got a little rant, feeling a little rant, but I want to make sure I do it in a measured way because of something that is going on right now that's bothering me. That I don't know if all of you even know about or care about. Well, thank you, Kal-El. I appreciate that, buddy. I promise. Again, look, Raquel will probably be here, but I don't want her to rush it if she's not, she hasn't been feeling that well. She stuck it out during Saturday Night Star Trek like a trooper. She wasn't feeling all that well, but you couldn't tell by listening to her the other night. I just don't want her to push herself. And if you're hearing this, Raquel, I mean it. I love you. You get the rest, and you take care of yourself. The show will always be here for you, but I want you to be well. So we will handle that part of it. But something going on that I'm going to address in a minute. But first, of course, don't forget, everyone, Saturday night, if all goes well, of course, Saturday Night Star Trek. We've done 61 in a row without missing anything. So here's number 62 right here. And of course, that puts number 62 of Saturday Night Star Trek puts us at, early in season 6 of TNG, reviewing all of Star Trek 66 through 05. So I can't wait for this one. Again, this is just so much fun every Saturday night. We look forward to this so much. I'm telling you, we really it has turned into something that we could not even have imagined. And we both say that to each other all the time in private. We expected, we didn't know each other super, super well when we started doing this all way back. We knew each other. We'd done a few shows together. And I just wanted someone to talk about Star Trek on the same level that I like to talk about it with. And like she often says, we're Star Trek soulmates, and we really are. That doesn't mean you agree on everything necessarily. It means you just you share a love for it and a knowledge for it that's comparable to each other's, and you love talking about it nonstop. And I have many other friends in my life that you could say are, close to soulmates as well when it comes to Trek and comics and other things. And if we just clicked, we didn't know that. How would we ever know that was going to happen? But it just did. And I don't know. If you think about it, how crazy was it for me to say something stupid like, let's review all of Trek? The magnitude of that? Yes, there's 735 installments, but it's like also there's 6, you have 6 series and 10 films. So, and if you just do 4 episodes per week most of the time, that puts you taking years to do it, but you don't run out of material for a long time. JT Kirk, thank you for that. I appreciate that compliment. So many of you say such, really cool, nice things about Saturday Night Star Trek. And that's another thing. But see, that in of itself was one thing. We could have I was going to do it one way or the other, whether we reviewed Trek or we just talked about various Trek things here and there. I wanted to do a Saturday Night Star Trek show again for a long time. I used to do Trek Talk on Thursday nights for a while back on the old days, in the Blog Talk Radio days. But I was planning to do something like this. It's just that hello there, Dr. Coffin Nails. Welcome to Clobberin Times. I've not seen you before here, but I saw you pop in earlier today, though, and I haven't seen you here that much. But thank you for being here. It's just an honor to have you here. So it just blew up, and we just realized that we had so much fun hanging out with each other, and we hope that shows with the way we do the show. And we decided to review it all, like I said, and we haven't missed a beat yet. 61 straight, and then we'll have number 62 this week for Saturday Night Star Trek. And then I'm sure there'll be at some point we'll have to skip one or whatever, if something happens. Life happens. Not that I have much of a life, but you know what I mean. Comic Relief Crusader says, what do you think of the new Kirk revealed in Star Trek Strange New Worlds? I don't think, put it like this. Of course, anything not 66 through 05 is filth to me. It's not legitimate Star Trek. I don't count it as such. But I never blame actors. I mean, look, those actors they may not feel that guy probably doesn't know much about Star Trek. He might know a little here and there. He doesn't love it the way fans do. So I don't begrudge an actor taking a gig. So I wouldn't be angry with him or call him names or be cruel to whatever the guy's name was. I forget his name now. Who took the role of this new fake Kirk and this new fake Trek, trash. But that's dead to me. It's not Star Trek. So other than me kind of laughing at it a little bit because yes, I am subjecting myself to pee hard for a different reason. Other than that, I don't accept it as real Trek, so it doesn't affect me as much, but I can kind of laugh at it. Strange New Worlds, how anyone, at least anyone who knows how bad STD is, how bad the Jar Jar Abrams garbage movies are, how bad P. Hard is, how anyone can say, acknowledge all of those things, and they'll say, but you know what? The Strange New Worlds might be different. It might be better. No. If you have any hope for Strange New Worlds, you are previously of the mindset that I've just mentioned. In other words, understanding that the other stuff is in name only Star Trek. It's not real Trek, that it's all filth and stupid. But somehow you think that show could be any good. God bless you. I'm not going to be mean to you or anything. I won't be cruel, but you're just fooling yourself. I just think you're living in a fantasy land if you think that could be any good. Could it be less shitty than STD? Sure, anything can be less shitty than STD. It won't be Star Trek. Automatically, they disqualified themselves. It's not real Trek. It's not in the real Trek universe. So they cast this guy who's, as an actor, he's a lot older than the character of Kirk was when he first got his first command. Remembering we don't know what we don't know the story significance, or we don't know what they're going to do with him in their quote unquote story. But we do know that, if this is a Pike show like it's supposed to be, why would you put Kirk in there? He's a lot younger than Pike, for one thing. So why would you? Like I say, hey, look, knock yourself out if you think the show's going to be any good. Who knows? I'll watch the first one for a laugh, maybe. But this is not Star Trek. Even if it's, I don't know. It's got Akiva Goldsman there, so it's still going to be stupid. People say, well, Anson Mount's great as Pike. Hey, Jeffrey Hunter is Pike in the story. Nobody else is Pike. He might be a good actor, but so what? He's not Black Bolt either, and he played Black Bolt, and that wasn't Black Bolt. I have two things to look forward to all week. One bonus, Star Trek streams. One bonus, Star Trek streams here, and Doomcock's Friday Night Frolics, the bonus of Pop Culture Breakdown on DC's channel. Well, thank you so much. And by the way, I should have said a big shout out to the great Lord Doomcock for coming on the show Monday night and to talk about our dear departed pal, Mark C. That was very, very kind of you, Brother Doomcock, and I appreciate you so much for doing that. I should have said that earlier. I was a bit remiss because I got ranting on this thing. So I kind of, in other words, it doesn't even bother me at this stage when they do this to Kirk, even though it's kind of funny how they were trying to make this show. First of all, they said they weren't going to do Kirk for a while, and then it was supposed to be about Pike. Then they're just trying to do anything they can to throw shit against the wall and hope it sticks. Dr. Coffin, yeah, it's Wild Card Wednesday, so I'm a big fan of Wildfire, and that's a Jim Aparo Wildfire cover at that. So thank you. I love Wildfire. Yes, Inhumans was terrible, Sax. But again, I have nothing against most of the actors, one way or the other, necessarily. They're just taking a job. I mean, some of them might be better than others, but I don't really care about the actors that much when these shows or in these movies. I just hate that they're dumbing down and destroying Star Trek. Kal-El says, isn't introducing Kirk in the Strange New World just a poor attempt to remake Tio? Yes, it's not real Trek, of course, but they should just stick with Pike. I mean, yeah, even that. That's what yeah, exactly. I mean, I heard it was supposed to be a Pike show. No one. Hello there. Good to see you, my friend. Absolutely, Dr. I have a Legion fan here amongst us. Great. Long live the Legion, buddy. So they can't even stick to their own stupid crap about trying to make a dumb Pike show and have Spock, because this show already has, from what we know about the cast, it already has Uhura on Pike's ship, which is stupid. It has Nurse Chapel on there, which is stupid. It has Dr. Mabinga on there, which is stupid. And then it has a descendant of Khan Noonien Singh in the crew. Stupid. Everything about the show is stupid, automatically going out the gate. If you care anything about real continuity, which of course they don't. Decepticon says, would it kill him to set Trek Show 50 or 100 years after TNG period? Why constantly go back? That is my favorite point of all. Something I've been saying since 2009. Look, I'm one who loves Enterprise, even though I thought it was not a good idea to do a prequel. But when they started, when the word came out in 2008 that they were remaking Star Trek and recasting, I was automatically said, look, a remake, it's bad enough to do a prequel. It's probably not a good idea to do prequels either. But a remake is the antithesis of Star Trek because remakes are always about going backwards. And it really is. And so that's what that got them into this cycle. First, you get this remake of the original crew. Then they come along and announce Discovery, and they can't, or Discoveries, as a friend of mine calls it. You can't just say, let's make a show past Picard's time. What do? 10 years. They claim it's in the real Trek universe, and it's 10 years earlier than Kirk's time. Why would you do? Automatically, when I heard that, even if they got good people involved in it, rather than the horrible, bad reboot idiots, I would have been like, I was like, well, even if you had a good people involved in this, the idea is garbage to set it 10 years earlier than Kirk. Yes, that's Dr. Coffindale says a descendant of Khan. But how that works, I don't know. But that's on the ship, yes, in Strange Dumb Worlds. Strange Neutered Worlds. So automatically, just like you say, Sean, I've been saying that since 2008, before even the 09 piece of trash came in. I'm saying, like, remakes, reboots, and prequels are always about going backwards. Set something in the future, move on from the next point. Why are they stuck to where they can't move beyond Picard's time? 20, 30, 50 years. Why not? Or even just a few years beyond Picard's time. Why not? If you wanted to stay in the 24th century, you should have done that. It's just asinine. Kello says they're just using the nostalgia for classic Trek as a Trojan horse to draw real fans in, fans of real Trek. And the thing is, fans of real Trek are too smart to buy into this stuff. I mean, I'm sorry look, you may be a nice individual or a nice person if you like this horrible crash. I know a few people that I know, in one or two in real life, that actually like this crap. They're not like hardcore Trek either, but they like it. They're nice enough people. But I can't. Anyone with hardcore Trek knowledge and love and understanding of what Star Trek is really all about cannot like this crap. Cannot accept this crap. Meaning Jar Jar Abrams and bad reboot filth and secret outhouse filth. Chris Persia, what's up, buddy? Exactly. Real Trek fans know better. But they'll throw the member berries out there. Look, and I'll sit through any old trash usually. I'll probably watch the first episode of Stranger Worlds. I don't know. But I've been watching P Hard. I watched episode 2 of that. I had not watched the second episode. I didn't know I wasn't really planning to, but I was kind of thinking about it. And then about a couple hours before showtime for Doomcock's show on Sunday night, and I didn't really have any way to watch the episode. But he asked if I wanted to come on. He said he wanted to rant about the episode and asked if I wanted to talk about it. So I went and dug up I pulled out a way to, let's just say, to watch it. While he was on the air, I waited, so I could watch it, so I could inform myself of the episode, so that I could watch it, so we could talk about it. And of course, I was lucky enough to go in there and talk with on Sunday night with Doomcock about it. And after watching that second episode, I'm like, wow, if he's going to stick it out and watch this whole season, which is going to give him an aneurysm, by the way. DC, dude, pace yourself. Don't let this show hurt you. I'll stick with him and I'll watch the rest of it. Whenever he wants me to comment on it, I will. But it's garbage. It's really horrible. It's just as bad as the first season. Some people have softened up on that first episode of Picard season 2 and say, it's not really as bad. You just don't. I wouldn't jump the gun on that, partner. Watch the second episode. Yes, the condescendent. Yep. Cynical cannibalization. What's next? Edith Keeler's great under the Cobb's office. Yep, there's a condescendent. Hey, Ironcaster, what's up, buddy? No, more of an ARG type thing, Ironcaster. I know it's a shocker to you. I spent enough money. I'll never spend another dime on any thing with the Star Trek label on it ever again, unless it's used secondhand and it's real Trek stuff. So yeah, and they don't like it. They can just suck it off. Yes, P Hard is he's a synthetic, whatever the hell he is. Yeah, I don't even know anymore. I don't think they know. But that second episode, Jesus H. Christ on a popsicle stick, was it bad? I mean, I mean, the first episode was bad. But I mean, every episode is bad of the first season too. It's just like the first episode was just setting things up, so a lot of people got thinking, "Oh, it looks like they might have been trying to improve some." No, they're not. It's Akiva Goldsman, baby. It's Klutzman. It's his gang. And they brought in some other guy who produced some shit, 12 Monkeys or whatever TV show for sci-fi. Who that doesn't cut any ice. It's still the same jackasses making the decisions. That second episode is full of so much stupid. It's almost like the first episode didn't have quite as much stupid. And by the way, if you have not seen the Red Letter Media review of episode 1 of season 2 Picard, I recommend it. That at least if you watch that, you'll be getting some entertainment value out of new shit garbage fake Trek because it's so funny. Hey, double D. C, I mean. I want to say D, man. I'm dyslexic. Double C. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you're doing well, buddy. Buck's a good Iron Man, buddy. Well, let's see here. Clobby, I committed for Doomcox to watch the whole Picard season. It's already killing me. I would rather read all former Flash comics. Well, yes, and you'd have some great entertainment there. In a few cases, not all. There's some bad ones. Yeah, the RLM review was perfect. But yeah, Mike, Mexican Iron Man brother, it's not going to be easy. But that's what friends are for. We get to at least bounce it off of each other and bitch about it. I think it was funny. Doomcock said he couldn't even get through all that second, but he probably, for his review, he's going to watch it all, of course, I'm sure. But I could only imagine what it must look like, him sitting there watching that garbage. It must be a sight. I hope he watches it in his helmet, at least. Kal-El, I would argue that P-Hard has ruined Q, but Voyager already beat them to it once. They had Q fighting wars and procreating. I wouldn't disagree with you there, Kal-El, so much as say that I don't like the direction they took with Q either, but it was still Q. I mean, it was still not great. I get you. But in a matter of 2 minutes, they made Q... They made Q thoroughly horrible and unlikable and not even interesting. He actually, for those who don't know, Q actually slaps the shit out of Picard robot and draws blood, by the way. Let that sink in for a second. And he's nasty, and he doesn't, I mean, he's not the fun-loving Q that we all know. He's the devil now. Because you can't even make Q normal. The few characters on Picard that are from old Trek, they don't even act, none of them act like themselves, including Picard. None of them are pleasant, none of their old selves. Everyone is a nasty, warped, distorted version of what they were. They're like their funhouse mirror. The characters from the old Trek that have been shown so far on Star Trek Picard, first season and second, are funhouse mirror distortions, ugly ones of what they were. They just, everything about them, from their demeanor to their looks to the way in their dialogue is warped trash, and it's meant to be unpleasant. Everything about this show is meant to be unpleasant, and I mean before they got in this screwed up alternate universe. And this one casts them into a universe that may as well be the mirror universe, but it's not, even though it's a lot like one. It's just somehow, we don't know how. Hello there, Pat S. Good to see you there, brother. Thank you so much for your kind words, man. I appreciate you. We don't know how, but Q has decided to put them in hell for a season. All he really had to do was make them watch last season. Q, if you want to put those people through hell, just do that. What you have to do, nothing elaborate. Yes, he's more the devil than a trickster now, because everything has to be hardcore and edgy and dark and stupid. I mean, but if the stupid levels were toned down a little bit in that first episode, maybe I think that's why, because I just didn't have them up to ridiculous levels. I think that's why a lot of people are saying, it's a little bit better. Even the RLM guy said, I didn't hate it. Well, just wait, buddy. Of course you didn't, because you had 10 episodes of garbage last year piled up on you. This one just is one little episode where they barely set things up in the first part. You'll hate it. So a lot of people were cutting slack to the first episode that it did not deserve, in my opinion. The cast is not in hell because they get paid money to be in this shit. Yeah, the viewer definitely in hell, Ironcaster. JT Kirk says, Picard just a matter of factly says that if you fly backwards around the sun, you'll go back in time, and only Spock or the Borg Queen can calculate. Yes, there's a that's another thing that really got me. For those who don't know, once Picard gets his little stupid crew together. By the way, why was Captain Rios fighting at the Vulcan front, supposedly for the Confederation? And yet he was in his own little stupid ship from the first season. Why wasn't he in a Confederation ship? Oh, well. Anyway, so they said something like, Kirk used to go back in time. They talked like a bunch of geeks who watched the TV show. They were like, Kirk used to go back in time. And they said, well, Kirk had a Spock. And so, yeah, but the Borg Queen can do it too. So here we go. We're going to use the stupid ass thing that I hate when they do. Time travel in Trek is a problem many times, but I really hate it when it's the turning the ship into a time machine. It's one thing when an alien race, when it's some other thing, or an accident even. But when it's just, let's just sling it back around the sun, like Assignment Earth aggravated me when they did it. To be perfectly honest. So now we're turning the ship into a friggin' time machine. It's just, it's just ugly. I mean, it's funny, I guess, but it's ugly. So we hadn't seen nothing yet, by the way. Next week's going to be worse. Yeah, that is a good question. How they knew that the Borg Queen could go. I don't know how they know anything. They don't know how they know anything. I guess they watched. They probably said, well, guys, I was watching the old movies and this happened. They may as well break the fourth wall. They break everything else. It's just, wow. Hey, hello, Alex James. Good to see you, my friend. True, Chris Persia about the Vulcan. Hello, that's terrible. God, it's just dumb. It's so bad. It's the worst writing. I mean, I think I'm trying to decide what the funniest bit was. Oh yeah, when General Picard, now inhabited by robot Picard guy for some reason, what's his face, when Q is showing him his collection of skulls. Holy shit! Here's gold ducat. And here's Sarek. Apparently General Picard killed Sarek in front of his wife and son. And he's got his skull to prove it. They had General Martak's skull, and General Martak, I guess, in this, of course, because of the differences necessary, was a Klingork. The thing is, it's not like this is a mirror universe or something. This universe happened because of Q created it, I guess, because it made no sense. They're going to explain it. It's just going to be shitty explanation. Scotty R37, but it doesn't matter. Why wouldn't Q just, again, if Q wants to put him through hell, why did he make it so hard to go back in time where the problem was? Why didn't he just plop him back there with this damn magic? No, we got to fill up an episode somehow, guys. Don't do that. Yeah, but if Q is so damn concerned with putting us in hell, why did he leave so much to chance? Because there were a number of opportunities for them to get killed before they got a chance to go back and enjoy hell. The Q wanted to put them in there. It was so stupid. Oh no! So if you think this show is going to be any better, I mean, you can watch those two episodes and still think, oh, it might not be as better as last season. It might be at least better than that. No, just wait. Yeah. Q is a paw wraith. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what he is. He's a nothing. In this, he's just unpleasant. He's not funny. He's not trying to be funny. He's not. One of the fun things about Q was how he annoyed that old, stick up his ass Picard. That's sorry. That's okay. I'm glad you asked me about that, Comic Relief Crusader. You're fine, buddy. Yeah, Doctor Coffin Nails, you're exactly right, and I agree with you, Scotty. Q was Q the banter between Q and Picard used to be really very entertaining. I mean, you had basically, you know what you could liken it to at its best. Q was Groucho, and Picard was Mrs. Rittenhouse. For those who don't know Marx Brothers films, and in particular Mrs. Rittenhouse from I don't know, Duck Soup or Night at the Opera or whichever. Margaret Dumont played the rich older lady she was the epitome of high society and the stuffed shirt type of the snob crowd that didn't understand any kind of humor. And of course, Groucho was like this little demon, and so were the other brothers running around making just making jokes that they don't understand and pulling just annoying them, and they didn't even know what was happening, befuddling them all the time. That's what Groucho would do to Margaret. I just used Margaret Dumont as the example, Mrs. Rittenhouse. So yeah, Duck Soup is a classic, great movie. So Q is Groucho, and Picard is Margaret Dumont. He's Mrs. Rittenhouse because he's the stuffy, stuffed 24th century stuffed shirt. I don't understand. It does it with decorum and all that crap. The Marx Brothers were out. The Marx Brothers were out shattering decorum, and that was so much fun. Pat S says, I believe that Star Trek time travel works. It appears they have gone back in time and ruined TNG for me for all time. There are many people, I think Doomcock has said it, and there are many other people. Yeah, that's a good one too. Q versus Daffy. Exactly. Daffy Duck, Picard versus Porky, Bugs versus Daffy. Bugs Bunny. Q's Bugs Bunny in a sense. Hello there, Matthew Pounder. Pat S, that's a good point. Many, many people have said that P Hard, and they're just talking about season 1, because it was out 2 years ago now, has made it tougher for them to watch or enjoy The Next Generation. Now, we're reviewing it every week, and it really messed it up it did mess it up for Raquel for a while as well. She stopped watching it as much, although she didn't watch P Hard. What she knew about it, and all the things the actors, stupid, horrible things the actors were saying, really messed up P Hard for her. Excuse me, not P Hard, TNG for her. But we're reviewing it, so we have to watch it with as much of an objective eye as we can when it comes to the episode. So when I watch it now, trying to review it every Saturday night, I do suspend that and I review it, whether and I don't, and here's why I don't take Picard. I understand it ruining it for some people, but as a lifelong comic book fan of 50 years, this kind of crap started happening to comic book characters that I love. I mean, as early as the 80s and into the 90s and such and beyond. In other words, character that I love gets taken by multiple different creator teams over the years, and they do all kind of crap that I don't like, that I don't want to see. And I just have to compartmentalize and go, you know what? That's not my version of the character. Screw that crap. That helps me put P Hard and STD and garbage like that into perspective. Like, you know what? That's not real Trek universe anyway. I don't acknowledge it. I refuse to acknowledge it as my headcanon. That's the same thing with Doctor Who and Star Wars. But before Doctor Who and Star Wars and Star Trek started having that happen to them, I was used to it because Marvel and DC Comics have been doing it for the longest time. Yep. Next Generation is about to be off of Netflix. That is correct. And that's how I watch it easy. Because I was never the big Next Generation guy. I thought it was okay when it first came on. I went back a few years ago and watched a lot of it and became a bigger fan of it. And now I'm watching it and seeing how inconsistent it really is. But I never went out and spent all that. I can't afford stuff like that. So I could never afford the DVDs or the Blu-rays. They're expensive. So I've been watching them easily, on Netflix. So it's going to be a little bit of have to drive. Now that I have to review it every week, I think I've got that taken care of, but I don't see. But I can't go out and buy the things. They're too much. I hear you, Scotty. I like having the physicals of stuff that I like, but I could never. That TNG set, those not nice new one, remastered, or even old ones. are too expensive. I mean, there's a lot of them out there. I just never could buy something like that with my kind of budget, but which is no budget. So I'll find somebody to watch them and review them still. But it was very convenient having them on Netflix. Let's put it like that. Catchman says, "Hard a cat ruin, TJ. I will not allow it. The line must be drawn here, this far, no farther." Yes, of course. Yes. Six, the lovely, beautiful Six. Hello there, my dear. It is wonderful to see you. Thank you for popping in. Yeah, look, Pat, if you love the show, I say, again, it's not, maybe that's easier said than done, but like I'm saying, headcanon is a big deal with me because it's the only way I've been able to maintain my love for so many, things, IPs or, characters and stuff that I love, that I just look at those as I look at what's being done now to Star Trek, what's being done to Star Wars for the most part, and what's being done to what's Doctor Who is not not mine. None of the things I love. So it's fan fiction to me. They can screw up. Now, yes, true. Technically, they own the rights. There's nothing we can do about that. But I don't accept it. I don't accept what these jerk offs are doing on garbage like P Hard or STD or what they're doing to Doctor Who or Star Wars. I don't accept The Last Jedi. Screw it. It's not, so I won't let, and there are people who've said that too about Star Wars. They said Last Jedi and The Force Awakens and trash like that has ruined their enjoyment of the original films from 77 and 80. And while for the original trilogy or even their prequels, if you're a prequel fan, and while I do see what they're saying, I never stop enjoying Star Wars 77 or The Empire Strikes Back, which is my all-time favorite film. I never stop liking some of the Star Wars books I've read or the comics. I'll still love them. And when I watch those, yes, I don't like where it ended up with the filthy sequel trilogy, but I still love those movies. But that's just me. I understand you. If it's ruined, because many people have said, many wonderful people that I know have said that those things are ruined for them now. And I feel terrible for them for that. I absolutely feel terrible for them, but I certainly do understand where they're coming from as well. I mean, I can't look, no judgment here at all. That's the way, and it is sad to have something that you love that means something to you, that these idiots who are in charge of it don't care about it, and they take it and they trash it and they do it gleefully in many cases, and there's not a whole lot we can do about it. But I keep the ones I love. I find this headspace, this headcanon of mine, because we are all of us walking around. We're geeks. We are geeks. Therefore, we are walking universes with gigantic imagiverses in our heads that we control. That only we can control, and only we have a say over. And in your head, you decide whichever quote unquote canon or whichever things in there. With regards to characters that you love, whatever the IP may be, inside your own head, no one gets to make the rules but you. And you get to say, that's filth and that's shite. Yes, you get to talk about it. Let's face it, we all like talking about this stuff. That's why we're geeks. We like talking about the things we love. But at the end of, I don't like to say at the end of the day because it's, but anyway, ultimately, you make that choice for yourself, no one else. And that's what I do with my headcanon, my universe. I decide, you know what? After 2013, no Doctor Who is legitimate to me. 50-year show, and after that, they've destroyed it. And I gave it a shot. I watched all that stuff after it. I don't count it. After 2005, there's no legit Trek that's been legitimate Star Trek that's been made in terms of film and television. After 2015, there's really no legitimate Star Wars that's been made for me. But it doesn't it doesn't soil the old stuff for me. I wish others would not let that do it for them. But if it did, hey, look, I understand you. And Kal-El says, that's the reason why I don't watch the filth. I made the mistake of watching the first episode of STD when it was publicly broadcast already, saw where it was going. Yeah, I watched about 8 or 9 of that first season. I couldn't take it anymore. I decided I didn't even want to review it. Kal-El, so I'm with you, brother. I got the chat backed up a little bit, folks. Let me see. Yes, Alex James. Oh, cool. Yeah, Empire Strikes Back is Yeah, I saw it 15 times in the theater in 1980, and I love it. But I just love how we love this stuff. Hey, Larry. Did I see Larry? Did I see Larry pop in there? My chat jumped on me, brother, but I thought I saw him. Maybe I was imagining things. My chat jumped on me, folks. Sorry. Yeah, he is. There he is right there. 451. Keep the real stories in our head. That's right, Larry. I'm with you, man. And thank you. Let me get my chat back up to speed. Oh, Chris Persia says, Globby, for me, the easiest I look at this mess as an altered timeline from First Contact, including the Enterprise series, which have all been affected by Picard's time jump, the Kurtzman timeline. I don't even consider it connected to that stuff, but if that helps you out, brother, I'm down with you, man. And Pat S., I didn't let the Jim Caviezel ruin the prisoner for me. At that time, it had no idea that was remake. Yikes, that was a piece of shit as well. The thing is that the Jesus Caviezel, Jesus Magneto prisoner thing went so under the radar. Usually mostly prisoner fans knew what it was trying to be. And yes, it disgusted me, but it got no traction. Unfortunately, the 09 Trek piece of crap got traction, and look, this is where we are now because of it. See that 09 movie that so many, even some people who don't like what's going on now, actually supported the Jar Jar Abrams trash. And let me tell you something, my friends. Trash rewarded is trash repeated. Let me say this again. Filth, garbage, horrible stuff rewarded gets you more of it. And it was rewarded, the 09 piece of trash that so many people tried to convince me, oh, it's not that bad. Yeah, we know it's kind of dumb and silly, but at least it's called Star Trek. At least we got Star Trek back. And I kept saying, no, you don't. Oh, but if you don't support it, there won't be any of it. I said, good. I don't want any more of this shit. This is not Star Trek. Dumbing down Star Trek into this stupid ass Fast and Furious with spaceships is not the answer, and you're going to ruin Star Trek if you keep supporting this. And for 3 years during that and after that, I got nothing but pushback on that. And then they ended up with Into Dumbness, and then they were all pissed off. And I'm like, hey, you gave us Into Dumbness by supporting this crap and not taking a stance against it. That's what that moved on to other things. It got Jar Jar Abrams a bigger career, and then he goes and screws up Star Wars. Thank you. Of course, he did it without the help of Star Wars. But the point is, you know, idiots supporting the 09 trash at Trek helped Jar Jar Abrams' career. And then they all got pissed off with Into Dumbness. Hey, you gave yourself into dumbness by supporting him. That's a long old battle. I've been doing this since right around 09 for this very reason, to fight. My show existed to fight that horrible Jar Jar filth that started in 09. That's how this is all started, for those who don't know. Everyone knows now. So and again, there were a lot of people whom I dearly love as friends who I'm talking about, who would get mad at me, say, what are you calling us idiots? Well, I'm an idiot too, so I do kind of dumb shit too. But I tease them about it. And again, we're all in good company. So unfortunately, a lot of people, I mean, look, Scotty, for example, no judgment. A lot of people, inexplicably to me, but loved the 09 trash. And then, like you said, the Caucasian con killed it for you, but it's no, hey, don't be sorry. Scotty, I'm sorry if I offended you by calling you. I'm only, I likes what I likes. That's fine. I don't want you to think it sounded overboard to someone who doesn't know me. And so I don't want it to sound that way. Scotty, I hope you'll accept my apology if you were offended by that. But I do say that I hated it from the beginning, but you are not the only one by far. Believe me, I am in the tiny minority of people who were against that film. A lot of people loved it initially. And you likes what you likes. And you stick by that. All opinions are welcome here. As long as we're cool, buddy. Because I don't want to feel like I'm attacking anybody, but I just really hate that movie so much. And I'll fully admit to all of you right now. Thanks. I'll fully admit. Thanks. I appreciate your good sport there, Scotty. Because I'm going to fully admit to you something right now. I have very little filter ability and have very, very, questionable judgment when it comes to the '09 movie. Um, for how much I hate it. And I have about a year or two ago, my buddy Flash and I, we did a our top 25 countdown of our most hated movies. Now, again, not worst movies, because that's easy to do a worst movies list. Movies we just hate the most for whatever reason, right? And I still got the '09 filth at number 1 or 2 after up there down there with Man of Steel, Last Jedi, and Fan Four Stick. It's somewhere in that little cluster. Hate Lord of the Rings as in the Jackson movies or the books, Scotty? It's so true. To paraphrase Michael from Retro Blasting, my good friend, if we as fans keep supporting the crap these corporations keep spewing, what incentive do they have to do better? I haven't given them a dime since they started destroying the stuff I like. Doesn't mean I don't find a sneaky way to watch it sometimes. And when people try to make me feel guilty about that, I always say, hey, look, I spent so much money on these things for years. If I decide I want to watch one in some clandestine way, hey, I figure, look, they don't give a shit about me. Screw them. They don't deserve to own this stuff anyway. So boo-hoo. Larry, explanation. And I do remember the Ray Bradbury book, Fahrenheit 451, very well, Larry. And he says, in Fahrenheit 451, besides burning books, people outside society were assigned to a book to memorize. That is true. Memorize completely. Then the books would not be lost to burning. You know what's funny about that to me, Larry, that I've always thought was interesting about that was like, man, I would be in trouble. I mean, my memory sucks so bad. I don't know if I'm capable of memorizing 2 paragraphs on a page these days. But to memorize a whole book, man, I'd be in some damn trouble. But I love that book, and that is a wonderful explanation. JT Kirk, '09 is awful. Red goo, yeah. Red goo that only Spock can fly to, and Romulans are helpless to make their own and do that to themselves. One Dead Star system collapses their pipe. Let me tell you something. The stupid in '09 Drek alone, forget about Into Dumbness and the other ones, beneath, is on the same level with the idiocy in STD, NP Hard. It's that stupid because a lot of the same idiots. When it comes to Lord of the Rings, I got to say that I have a distaste for the whole kid. Oh, okay. Well, I've never really. I think I've read some of the books way back when. But and I like those movies, but I never was. I don't know. I must admit, I don't know the books that well. We could give you a little golden book with lots of pictures. Says, okay, that might work. I can do it with some comic books, maybe. J25, what's up, my friend? Good to see you. Vote with a wallet. The only thing they understand. Yes, sir. Can you memorize the first 1 or 2 issues of Fantastic Four? Even that, no, that would be tough. But I would be willing to give it a try, buddy. As much as I hated Beyond, I got to admit, I'm not sure I hated it as much as '09, Scotty. But I will say that I understand being a Beastie Boys fan. Many are, and I like Carl Urban. I don't buy into him as McCoy like everyone else does, but I think he's a great actor. I've liked him in some stuff. Now speaking of outrageous, folks, I'll wait to the next hour to get to that, but I got a pretty big one coming up. JT Kirk says, when are you going to read Dead of Honor with Raquel? I've got to get that copy to her yet, but I will soon. I picked it up the other day on Kindle. Oh, and it was a true 10 out of 10 masterpiece, way better than Meeting God Outside of the Galaxy. Yes, Dead of Honor is really good. It's been a while since I've read it. Great art by Adam Hughes. Great art by Adam Hughes, and well, Claremont's script is interesting, but yeah, it's been a while since I've read it. Actually, I didn't like the movie Pat S, but I did think he was good. I thought he was great as Dredd. Show me on the doll where they touched you. Well, show me the doll and I'll show you. But only you, Scotty. I have to send you like DMs. We don't want everyone to see on the doll. I'll show you. Well, if my mouse would work, I would show you on Wildfire right here where they touched me, but you can't see where my mouse is now. So I don't like the movie Dredd much, but I thought Urban was perfectly cast. I mean, look, yeah, Carl Urban's a great actor. Yeah, hell yeah. So no, that was pretty cool. Like I say, it's never really about the actors. You got to show me the doll first, there, Scotty. Oh, he lacks the chin. You think? You think Urban lacks the chin? I thought he worked pretty well for Dredd. I like that he kept the helmet on the whole time. There are a lot of times when a movie or a film is never the casting's good and still like the story, like people are so on about, for example, Anson Mount, good actor. Not his fault that the Black Bolt, the humans sucked. Not his damn fault. And would he be? But to me, Jeffrey Hunter is Pike. Full stop. Don't even. Even if the show. Look, if someone says, I'm watching Strange New Worlds, and it's not as bad as FCD. Well, yeah, having one hand cut off is not as bad as having both your legs chopped off either. I guess. So, hooray for them. Well, a few months back, because it had been almost like 10 years since I'd seen Dredd, my good buddy J-Man and I got together and re-reviewed it. I revisited it, and I gave it a slightly higher, better review than I did back when I destroyed and savaged it back in 2000. Back in 2010 when I savaged it. But I always thought Urban was fine in the movie there, D-Bud. So I'm glad you liked it. I'm glad anyone liked it. I'm a Dredd purist, I guess. I love Judge Dredd. Hello there, Oliver Belamonte. And Scotty, R37 with a $10 super chat. Thank you, Scotty. You're too kind, my friend. You shouldn't have, but I thank you so much for your kindness. You throw me the idol, I'll throw you the whip. I love that movie. Then that movie didn't trigger me. Well, except in a good way. Oliver Belamonte says, Clobby, I've seen the Mrs. Marvel trailer. It looks like they changed Kamala Khan's powers as if she had Reed Richards and Sue Storm's abilities, but they have Infinity Gem colors. Yes, people keep equating the powers with Green Lantern type. Isn't it more kind of like Quasar? I bet she's pretty much their Quasar now. That looks like CW Pap to me, so I have no interest in it. So, Oliver, I don't know if you're interested in it or not. That'll be probably the first Marvel show and I was dumb enough to watch the other ones, unfortunately, but I probably won't even bother with that. I know, but probably I won't be watching that show. But just to quote the most brilliant woman in the universe, Brie Larson, is it made for you? Well, you know what? I'm going to take Brie's advice to heart on this one and go, you know what? You're right, Brie. This show was not made for me. I'm out of here. I'm not watching that. So, yeah, but, look, maybe somebody else is interested in it. It is really actually aimed at a kiddie audience, Pat S says, best casting in geek movies, Christopher Reeves. Actually, it's Reeve, not Reeves, but that's okay, buddy, as Superman. And Indiana Jones as Han Solo. And Indiana Jones I think you mean Harrison Ford as both of those guys, but that's cool. Indy was good in Blade Runner 2. Indy, you keep calling him Indy. So Harrison Ford's real name is Indiana Jones, folks. I'm just messing with you, brother. Oh, man. Man, what the hell's wrong with you, son? Hey, boy. What the hell's wrong with you? Jesus. She's named after the most disgusting cheese ever invented. Brie. Brie, is that worse than Limburger? It's not much of a cheese shop. Then you're making me think of the cheese shop sketch from Monty Python. Yeah. Not much of a cheese shop, is it? It's cleanest in the district, so it's certainly uncontaminated by cheese. Oh dear. Yeah, you all know the cheese shop. So they named him after the dog. They named the dog Indiana. I have some great memories of that dog. You were named after the dog? Oh, Jesus. So, Scotty, does that am I to take that, Scotty? Is that you don't mind? You're not all that opposed to Miss Larson. Well, look, I don't think she's as terrible as everyone. I think that movie's horrible. And she's a silly beat. She says stupid shit, but I don't think she's that as unattractive as everyone else does. I think she's kind of I think she's kind of cute. I mean, not really yeah, not the greatest or anything. She's not Scarlet, but man, what are you gonna do? This parrot is no more. Exactly, Clive. I believe the bracer Kamala. Let's all say Kamala just to aggravate her. Has in one of Quasar's quantum bands, and with that, they will never have Wendell Vaughn. No, they won't. They won't have male. Wendell Vaughn will not be Quasar, and they're probably. Someone said they might be the Nega bands. I don't think so. They're not the Nega bands. They're probably the quantum bands. I hear you, Scotty. This is an ex-parrot. It has shoveled off its mortal coil and gone to join the bleeding choir invincible. Invisible, that is. This parrot is no more. Bree she's a North Alabama 8 at best. Bree, I mean, a North Alabama 8. So there you go. I was waiting. There we're close enough to the top of the hour for me to do this next segment. Not that I have I'm not segmented. I'm not actually organized or anything. But this is some sad and good, some good and some sad here. For those of you familiar with the great artist George Perez, and unfortunately, George is really does not have a lot of time left. It was just announced a couple of months back that he has a terminal cancer, and he's not doing very well, and he announced it to the world, and he knows it, and anyway, so about a month or so ago, they announced that a comic that, strangely enough, has been out of print, the JLA Avengers crossover from the early 2000s by Kurt Busiek and George Perez, went out of print. Not only, obviously, reprint. They stopped reprinting it for a good while, way back. So, in conjunction with the Hero Initiative, which is a great, he's still alive, but is a great charity put together by the Kirby family, Jack Kirby's great granddaughter and sons, and all of those wonderful people, to help people who had worked in the comic book business early, throughout the Silver and Bronze Age, who were still with us and stuff like that, who didn't make a lot of money, who were treated like garbage by the two garbage Marvel and DC companies, the big two. And that's a charity for them. They only made 7,000 copies, but they came out with 7,000 copies of a nice new edition reprint of this book. Now it has a cover price of $29.95 or whatever, and but there's only 7,000 copies, so only each comic shop was allocated a couple of them. I think Lone Star actually was allocated about 12 of them or something like that. And if you look here, of course, here you see George Perez he finally got he's got a copy of it right here, which bless his heart. And that's a nice thing to see. He got to see it printed. I like other. I don't have a new folder anymore for many years now, so I don't buy any new comics. But a friend of mine who does, and of course, we put in an order for it. But of course, the vultures had to sweep in, and if you if you ordered this, you can't get it, Pat. Here's the thing. It's now popping up for 500, 600 bucks on eBay. This has a $30, $29.99 or whatever, $29.95 cover price or whatever, right? Why even bother put a cover price on it if you're going to let this happen to it? Now, it's for the Hero Initiative. All the money that goes to the Hero Initiative of this thing come from the comic book shop orders. Unless you were able to get your comic shop owner to get you a copy, and most comic shops are doing this themselves, I'm sure. You couldn't get this thing. Now, scalpers, exactly. Now, Lone Star Comics, run by a very honorable and good man, Buddy Saunders. They're called Comic Shop, mycomicshop.com. They were allocated 12 copies. Now, they are auctioning off copies for like 500 something bucks, but that's an auction, and the proceeds are going to the Hero Initiative. So I have no problem for that. However, there are a few eBay sellers who are doing the same, and the ones who are putting on their site, proceeds of this are going to the Hero Initiative. So they're like 4 and 5 and 6. I think 5 and 600 down, 700. If you're doing that and you're keeping your word, and those proceeds are going to go to that, that's fine. I didn't think I was going to be able to get a copy of this thing. I was pretty sure I predicted this a month ago. This was going to happen. But any asshole out there who is taking this thing because they were able to get it from either a comic shop owner or comic shop owner themselves, and they go in the little eBay store for this $30-something dollar book that they got at a discount, and is jacking this thing up to 4 and 5 and 600 bucks, and they're not giving the proceeds to the Hero Initiative, and it's happening. And granted, there are only 7,000 copies, so I don't know how much it can happen to be effective. Can go screw them. I'm not going to yell the way I was yelling earlier when I realized this. I'm only hoping that most of them don't do it. But the fact is, a lot of them are doing it. It would be cheaper to buy the original issues, of course, Matthew Pounder. You can, again, they're not easy to get that much. Eric K, good to see you there, bro. Will any of the resellers send that money to the Perez family? Hello, no, freaking bloodsuckers. Now, again, the Perez family doesn't want the money. They made this for the Hero Initiative. And so any of the ones who are honestly like Buddy Saunders, like any of the eBay sellers who claim to be selling this and giving the proceeds to the Hero Initiative, good. A few of the eBay companies saying actually says benefits charity in the listing, but most do not. A friend of mine sent me. Just because it says benefits charity doesn't mean it's true. It does for, I trust Lone Star. I mean, Buddy Saunders will do that. So, Comic Relief Crusade are downloading the issues now. So are they on Comicology? Where you, if you are, or wherever? I hear you. Well, that's good. Hungry Boy, what's up, bro? Good to see you. So, I hope that this is not, that it's a small amount of people that are doing this vulture shit. If you're doing this and you're jacking this price up, look, I don't mind not being able to get it. I'm hoping they'll come out soon with a bigger reprint where they'll come out where we can get. I'd like to get a reprint of it. I don't have the original reprints for various reasons, but I don't have them anymore. But if you're taking this thing that you were able to, finagle out of your local comic shop and got it for $30, and you're jacking it up to $500 or whatever. Hello there, Polymies Minion and Pupper. If you're jacking this thing up to $500 or $600, and you're not giving that profit to the Hero Initiative, you are a steaming pile of shit. You vulture turd. I hope it's not many, but we know there are going to be some scumbags doing that. We just know it, right? I mean, it's the comic book business. It's pathetic. If you're doing that, or if you're putting up on your shop wall, if you're a comic shop owner, and you got $400 on there or something, or 500 or whatever, go scruck yourself, you sack of crap. Again, anybody do it? That's a lot of money. But if you're doing it to raise money for the Hero Initiative, that's a very important thing to do. But if you're just doing it to jack the price up like a lot of scumbags, you can go rot in the big one. Clobberin talks, my brother and I saw a guy take a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle action figure out of a kid's hands. He had 2 of them already. My brother and I stepped in. I'm not brave, but the kid was my nephew. Scalpers suck. Yes. Look, all these shitheads who go to hey Dave, good to see you. All these shitheads, for example, who go to Target and Walmart and used to be when there was Toys R Us, and get their toy hunters, not so they can get these figures just for themselves because they're collectors. Buy them all up, because a lot of these guys who work in the toy aisle of some of these places will tell you that when something new's coming out and they know about it, those guys are there like clockwork at Walmarts and Targets and all that stuff, and they're just going there to scalp them and sell them online. I can't stand slime bags like that. Some people just want to collect those damn Marvel Legends or whatever, and you jackass. And this is similar to that, but this is even worse because this book was produced for a charity because George Perez wanted them to do this. He wanted this. He thought this would be a good way to just make a little bit of money for the Hero Initiative, and he wanted to see a nice trade paperback made of this thing. It's arguably one of his most important and popular works that he did, and it's being disgraced by vultures. Now, again, I don't know how many people are doing this. So I'm not going off the deep end about it, but we know it's happening, and whoever is doing it can just a despicable turd. You're a piece of crap. If you're a comic shop owner that did this and is selling it to make the profit at $500 something bucks, and you're not giving it to the Hero Initiative or an eBay seller doing that, just go. I'm not going to say the things I want to say, but hey, the great Cardinal Sin is here with us. Good to see you there, brother. Good to see you, man. Look at George there, man. He was look at this man. He was so happy to see this thing made. Look at it. God bless him. And this is a sad, sad state of affairs. So, Hungry Boy says, in the 90s, we called individuals like these vultures tapeworms. Yeah, look. And exactly all my years, of course, as you know, sorry, Eric, to keep the cabal conspiracy going, dealing with jackass vulture dealers who jacked up prices and stuff. One of the things I went through a lot in my shop was, I never once, and I mean never, and this got me in trouble with a lot of other dealers around my area. I would never, for example, take new comics off my rack and then jack the price up. I don't care how valuable they got. If I got it through the normal ordering system, and I don't care if it went through the roof, it stayed on my rack. If it stayed on long enough, it might got put in a bag and a board, but I still would not go higher than the cover price, or maybe for the price of the bag and the board, because I didn't pay that much for it. And I want people to be able to get that damn comic if they wanted it. Jackasses, look, The Dark Knight Returns. When the first issue came out of that, I had just recently moved to a place outside of New Orleans. You might even be familiar with which shop I'm talking about, Pat S. I don't know. You might be a little bit older. This was 1986 when issue number 1 came out of that. I took time off of work to go to the comic shop to get that in my comics, to find out that the biatch running that comic shop already had it jacked up to $20. It was back then, it was a prestige format book, was $4.95. So the issue number was $4.95. This bitch already had it for $20. Well, there was no way I was paying that. This was, everyone had been expecting this comic. It was well mass produced. I was buying my comics there regularly for that point. And I said, you know what? And because this was a short time in the 80s when I was not in the business, I was doing another job. And I found I'd known about this other shop in town, which was, of course, called, and I can say their name because it was a very dear friend of mine and one of the greatest friends of my entire life, the great Carl Tupper at BSI Comics. And I'd only been to the shop once or twice, but I went in there and I told him what this bitch was doing. He was pissed. And of course, I bought the comic at cover price from him. He became one of my best friends in my entire life and helped me eventually start my own shop up later. And I worked for him and worked with him for years and all that stuff anyway. But Carl was comics in New Orleans. But it was just, and this kind of thing has happened a lot. When The Killing Joke came out, the first week I opened my shop in 1988, my own shop, Mega City Comics, when Batman the Killing Joke came out, the very first week I opened up, I ordered as many copies as I could afford to order. And people were trying to come in and buy 10 copies at a shot. I had to limit quantities. And they were getting mad at me. I said, look, I got customers coming in to buy this thing. You want to buy a copy? Yeah, you want to buy 2 maybe. But I'm not selling you more than two because I don't know how many people are going to want this thing. We don't know. It looks pretty big. It's Alan Moore. It's Brian Boland. It's Batman. I'm not selling you multiple, so you can go jack the goddamn price up on these things. So you got in fights with some guys. Look, I reserve the right to limit quantities because you're not buying this because you want to read it and enjoy it and collect it. You're buying it to go out and sell it to somebody else. Well, not here. And that's the way I ran the shop. And it's just the way I felt about running the shop. Screw that crap. These comics are supposed to be read and enjoyed. That's what comic books were for. And that doesn't mean I'm not sensitive to collectors. I never was much of a collector myself. I sold them. I dealt with them. I love the art form and everything about it. I've had some things that I collected for myself, but some of my dearest friends are hardcore collectors. But they don't do that shit either. These were what I call snakes and hucksters and dealers, not comics fans. Green. It's the green. The first printing is green. The very first printing of Killing Joke was green, Scotty. And that was out. I ordered, and I made that. I made my initial order that last for about almost 2 months. And I had a couple of friends with a couple of shops. I think when Carl needed a couple, I got him a couple. But I can't stand people doing that shit. And I'm going to put up with it. Eric K for the $2 super chat. Thank you, buddy. You're too kind, my friend. Surrounded by the cabal. They are every place. Yes. We've got you surrounded. For those who don't know, the comic book shop owner, cabal. Yeah, so good old George. And, God bless him. He got to see the comic, which is very nice. I'm very happy that he got to see that. He also, this is a picture. This is, just touching. This is George Perez at Disneyland the other day. So George Perez, God bless you, and I'm glad you're out there having some fun, sir. At most, I sometimes bought 2 or 3 of the special issue. One read, and one enjoy, and 1 or 2 sell it if it went up in value. Oh, look, Comic Crusade, I did it too. Personally, of course, I was in the biz, but a few times when I was not in the business and I just wanted to buy, if I really liked the comic, I bought an extra once in a while. With Watchmen, I went nuts, and I bought 5 issues of every issue. And you know what? Not one for selling. I bought them so I could give them to other people. I was so nuts about Watchmen at the time, but that's another story. Too much. I ordered about 200, D-Bud. But remember, I was a new shop just starting out. This was Louisiana. You were in the big zone there. Either 1 to 200. I think it was something like that. But see, I was when I first opened up, all I had was about a relatively 50 to 60 some odd people that had bought comics from me years earlier at the other shop that I brought in. But for the most part, I didn't have a gigantic, budget or that many people yet. And wasn't even using a folder system at that point. So I managed to make it last a couple of months. But that's a pretty big amount of order. Let's see here. Oliver Monte says, Clobby, I wished there was girl power team up film back then of Joanna Cameron, ISIS, Helen Slater, Supergirl, Yvonne Craig, Batgirl, Linda Carter, Wonder Woman. Well, don't we all? Don't we all, Oliver? Yeah, buddy. I'm with you there, sir. The Cabal and the Whispered Network, like the Avengers, and the Squadron Sinister. Oh dear, oh dear. Comic Relief Crusader, how'd you get that thing, man? You didn't arg, did you? Which is okay. It doesn't matter to me. Hell, screw them. What the F is a Watchman? I know you're kidding there, Scotty. BSI is no longer open on Sunday. I know it's not your pals anymore, but still a bummer. Yeah, it's on it's 2 owners since him. It's changed hands twice since he sold it. Again, I a couple years back I did meet the new kids running it, and they seemed nice enough. But I have not been to BSI in a long time, so obviously nothing against BSI, because again, it's once owned by a dear friend of mine, then owned by a guy I wasn't so friendly with, but I knew him, then these kids I don't know who own the new one, but if you're around that New Orleans area, check them out. You never know, they might be doing fine. But now they're not open on Sunday. That's not good. You got to be open on Sundays. Sometimes you could take off. Some comic shops don't like to open on a Monday, but Sunday you need to be open. Well, it's not doing well. Of course, comic shops are different now. Back in the 90s, were you pissed off at the death of Soups, knowing he'd be brought back anyway? I know I was. Well, I wasn't. Actually, I was laughing at it, but that's a long story. I take a lot of heat for my stance on the death of Super Wuss. Chris Berger says, don't ask Damon Lindelof, because he clearly didn't know. Damon Lindelof did not know Watchmen. Boy, was that terrible. That Watchmen TV show was such a piece of shit. We knew it would get better, but it was nice for sales, I guess. It was a nice little gimmick there. Post it on Twitter if you can't see it here. What's that, comic? Still rocking a shop. Yeah. I don't know about you, D-Bud. I would not own a shop if you gave one to me now. It's so different. But if you owned a comic shop now, it would have to be a big hybrid of a lot of other things and old stuff. And if I did own one like that, where I sold a lot of other cool stuff too, I would not even bother with new comics. I wouldn't even touch them. Back issues and other types of cool stuff to go along with it. And I wouldn't even have to mess around with Diamond or any of that crap. Just to hell with them. No, and I would. I don't know, if I had friends that wanted to order new stuff, I might help them get it. I've also run some subscription services before, back in the 80s and 90s, where I would help friends get comics that way. I mean, I'd probably maybe engage in something like that. Anyone wanting to buy any new stuff, but no, I wouldn't put it on the shelf. Yeah, I mean, again, nothing personal. Anybody wants to buy that stuff, that's fine. Hell yes, Scotty. There better be a damn pinball machine. It's funny you mentioned that. Last week, or last Saturday, I believe, I get a text from my son, and he lives here, but he's down in New Orleans, and he sends me a picture of a Doctor Who pinball machine, a bunch of different pictures of it. And I remember that Doctor Who pinball machine from the 80s, of course. And I said, where the hell are you? And he said, he named the comic shop, not BSI, it's a different one that's downtown, that's uptown, New Orleans. Oh, and he told me the name of the comic shop. So I said, tell him I said hi, because I know the guy that owns it, of course. But I don't know what, he was just down there with his sisters and running around town and stuff. So it's kind of weird. But yeah. It was in there. He has a pretty good it's in really nice shape though. And it's at a comic shop. So there you go. And yes, you gotta have a pinball machine at a comic shop. I don't know why, you should anyway. Old Comics Pizza, toy t-shirt shop with secondhand DVDs. Yeah. Sort of like Second and Charles, but better. Did any of you have a Second and Charles near you? Thank you, Comic Relief Crusade. I'll take a look at that when I can, buddy. I appreciate you there. Anyone have a Second and Charles near where you are? Because that's a pretty good place. That's a pretty good place. I like it. There we go. All right. There's only Second and Charles. All right. Does everyone familiar with Books a Million? Did you? Okay. Okay. Well, book. Anyway, how about Books a Million? Anyone know that one? That was a little bit more famous. Oh, Kirk, JT, you got one of those. Okay. Well, Books a Million, of course, is for those who don't know, it's yes, an arcade for sure, man. I would love to have an arcade. Well, Books a Million is sort of the size of a Barnes and Noble. I know you probably have heard of that. It was a very big bookstore chain for a while, and eventually they changed a few of them. They still own it. Second and Charles became. It's a very large building. If you think about a big Barnes and Noble, if you will, if you're familiar with that big bookstore, and what they've done with Second and Charles is, and they have one near me, an hour from me. It's a lot of used stuff. You walk in, tons of every kind of used video game. Video game stuff on one side. They got one, and people bring stuff in there to buy. They do trade-ins and buys all the time. They've got a small comic shop in the middle of the place with back issues. Not tons of them, mind you, but a lot of pretty decent back issues. New stuff, all these other knickknacks that are related to comics and geek stuff and all this stuff. Oh, and this is all on one side of the store. Then you get tons and tons of trade paperbacks and hardcovers, usually fairly discounted, but their prices aren't as good as they used to be, I guess. But they got a lot of discounted stuff. Not all of it's used either, but some of it is. And on the other side of the store, the left side of the store, tons and tons of DVDs and Blu-rays that are used, along with vinyl and CDs and all the other stuff, music and all that stuff like that, and a bunch of other types of pop culture like knickknacks. And in the back half of the store is a bunch of used books, older books. They got a little Star Trek section with Star Trek toys and memorabilia. They got a Star Wars section. They got little bitty sections for that sort of thing. So it's pretty cool. I like going there every now and then. The prices used to be better, and Books a Million still owns them. So Second and Charles, again, it's not as great as it used, but it's still a fun place. You could have a little fun going in there. And you're always if you're always on the lookout for old Blu-rays or DVDs, that's a good place. That's a really good for that. Trade paperbacks, not quite as much, but it was pretty good. Let's see here. Let's see what you're talking about there, pop culture. Wow. Wow, indeed. Oh, yeah. That's the hardcover. Good luck getting that. Yeah, I see what you're saying there, Comic Relief Crusader. You got to go through the saloon doors to get to the dirty memorabilia. I don't know where. Now, where would that be, Scotty? But that would be a good idea. Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, that's the one I go to in Covington, or right there in St. Covington. By the way, Pat S, for our area anyway, I don't know if you've ever been to that St. Tammany Parish Comic Con they have every now and then. They're having it in a couple of weeks. I and all of my gang, in other words, my Gulf Coast Geek gang, a lot of my friends, we're all going to be there to spend the day like we always do. We're going to go hang out at the con a little bit on that Saturday morning, that Saturday in the afternoon, and then go hit Second and Charles, go get something to eat like we always do. There's going to be tons of people. I don't know if you're into that sort of thing, but that's a small con. I like the small cons, actually. Can you find a lot of crap there? Yeah, I don't know, here and there. But if we go there just to see each other, because they're all from the Gulf Coast of Mississippi, And I'm just every now and then we go and do that. That's something I'm really looking forward to. Not at all, Scotty. Not at all. You do appreciate that. So yeah, Pat S. That's coming up in a couple weeks, and I'm looking forward to that. I think April or the first week in April or something like that. So yeah. Hungry Boy, that's an interesting. Kaylee Chow, Roll Tide. Good to see you there, my friend. Hungry Boy, that is a very interesting idea. Looking at that wildfire and wishing at some point, Frank, that Frazetta had painted him. Frazetta painting wildfire? Dude, I'd be all over that. Mr. Angel, good morning. Good morning, starshine to you, sir. Roll Tide there, buddy. It's good to see you there. So yes, I look. I would love to get that book. I understand that was when you only do 7,000 copies. All I ask is that they print the damn book eventually. They got it out there quickly, but because George has only so much time. Unfortunately, I look fine. I really do get that, but I do hope that I don't know. I do hope that they manage to put the thing out again. I mean, for $30, for that whole thing, it's not too bad that's high for a trade, but it's not, what the hell, it's worth it. Like I said, it goes to a good cause. So that ain't nothing. That ain't a nothing thing. So there you go. Let's see. I was trying to find another picture of something I wanted to show. Where are you? I followed you right back there, Scotty. Thanks for following. Where am I? All right, where? Okay, I'll just have to search it. Kurt Busiek had a picture up that I wanted to show. I'll tell you what, Kurt Busiek, I'm a big fan of his. He's done some of the greatest comics ever, writing wise. We don't agree on much, but tell you what, seems like a good dude. Oh, there we go. All right, found it. Sorry, everyone. He posted some pictures. He got to visit with George Perez. God, he posts some dumb shit. Jesus Christ. Man, like a lot of people, he posts some dumb shit. I just want to see the Perez picture. Well, I can't find it. Damn it. Come on, Kurt. Where are you? There we go. I guess that's it. Yeah, this picture here kind of concerns me. Sorry about that, everybody. You want a good Judge Dredd anthology crossover? I mean hardcover. I love my big black and white hardcover of the Brian Bolin Judge Dredd. That's a great one. Pat S says, as soon as my brother is better, I'm in. He has finished chemo. Oh, that's good. One surgery left. Thanks. Thanks, Bud. Clobberin Times. We are looking forward to crowds again. Yes. Well, I wish you could be there, buddy, because it'd be great to meet you. I can introduce you to the gang. You'd love them, and I know they'd love you, and they'd love to meet you. So that'd be great to have you hang out there, bro. That'd be cool. That's what I mean, that's what I go there for. I can't really spend any money or anything like that, but I make the trip, especially with the what gas is going to be. Oh, Jesus. But I'm going hang with the buds there from the Gulf Coast. And a couple of them are hardcore collectors. So we just have so much fun, hitting, raiding the collector, the booths at the con and all the other stuff. Watch they'll bitch and moan about this. They don't even have anything, and they'll walk out with like 2 stacks of damn comics that they find, stuff like that. And then we'll hit. There was a comic shop, believe it or not, there was a comic shop right next to Second and Charles, but it's gone now. But still, we'll go hit Second and Charles and hang around in there, and it's just that's what geeks do. Geek out. But All right, let's see. All right. Sorry about that. Okay. This is kind of sad. But this is Kurt Busiek got to visit with his collaborator on Justice League Avengers crossover, the great writer Kurt Busiek. So you see George there, smiling away as always. It's just so sad to see this happening to this man, but he's hanging in there and he's just showing a great spirit. So good on you, Kurt Busiek, to go visit George Perez. That's very sweet of you to do that for the man, and as fans appreciate that. So, and good on you, George. So there you go. And by the way, Kurt, get that Astro City done, buddy. Actually, he did. He's got a new one coming out. I can't believe it. I can't wait. Yeah, absolutely. Hang in there. Man, what are you gonna do? What you gonna do? You just hang on because you have to. Oh man, I don't know why this. I don't even understand how this comic went out of print. I think it's because Marvel and DC were just being dickheads. To be honest with you, they didn't like the. I mean, it's not like it would never sell. It wasn't. It was in print for a while. Now, I'm going to go. I'm going to do my confession as to why I never read this. Believe it or not, you might be shocked. I've never read this comic book. I know you're shocked because first of all, you know what a fan of Perez I am, and of course Kurt Busiek. JLA Avengers represents a crazy pain for me. My pain, my comic book pain, and I'll tell you why. This comic, which this one here, the one they're reprinting in this book, was released in like I want to say 2000-ish, somewhere up in there, right? Well, it was supposed to come out in 1983. 2003. Okay, thank you, Comic Book Crusader. It was supposed to come out in 1982 and 83, something up in there, right? Now, Perez drew something 40-something pages, and then Jim Shooter, because see, it was Marvel's turn. Marvel and DC took turns with these crossover books. It was supposed to be Marvel's turn. This was getting right around the time where Perez had left Marvel to go to DC already, and Jim Shooter was being a crotch about it. And still, Perez drew like 40-something pages. But Jim Shooter kept throwing a monkey wrench into this thing. And again, I'm not. Look, who knows? I wasn't there. That's what I always like to say when I talk about this thing or that thing that happened. I always like to make sure I'm saying these are things you read about. You may have read it about it 20 years ago. I wasn't there. And I liked things Jim Shooter did in the 90s with Valiant. So let me be very careful to say it seemed to me like Jim Shooter was the fault. That's what a lot of people said in various different interviews and things I've seen. There's certainly far more complicated than that. And I can direct you towards any types of interviews you might need to bring about more, because it's been a while since I've read all those way back when. But just basically, it didn't happen. Let's put it like that. And a lot of it, I think, was to do with he didn't want to work with the guys who were working on it because they now work for DC. 40-something pages were drawn of this comic. In 1994, I happened to be at Dallas Fantasy Fair. George Perez was there. He was standing kind of out in the crowd. He was talking to Rob Liefeld. He was talking to a few other people. I saw him hand the pages of this comic book, the what pages were drawn of the first comic book of this, the first JLA Avengers team up, and get handed like 20 grand or whatever it was. They told everybody about that, the week before they met at some con and they made a deal. So Rob Liefeld paid him like something like 20 grand in cash for those pages. So the first unfinished but drawn pages of the JLA Avengers, first one from 1982, 1983, whatever it was, are in the possession, or at least were, probably still are, of Rob Liefeld. We'll never see the story really happen or come out to fruition. So, fast forward to when this book came out, the early 2000s, 2003. 40 pages at minimum to 6 hours per page for work. Many would needed 8 hours. Perez was fast. So by the time this came out, I was pissed off at Marvel, pissed off at DC. Busiek and Perez had a run on Avengers that for me, I bought it. I didn't like it that much, to be perfectly honest with you. I thought it was okay, but I wasn't big on that Busiek Perez Avengers run. It was good, but it wasn't my favorite. But the JLA at the time was, I think, was it Morrison and Wade or all these different writers? I can't remember who was doing them. But what happened was by the time this thing came out, I hated the roster. The art's fine because it's George Perez, right? Writer, hey. But I was pissed off. I wasn't buying mainstream Marvel and comics DC that much. So if you look at this roster, you've got Kyle Rayner. I hate him. I never would buy JLA because he was in it. So I certainly was so pissed off. It should have been Hal Jordan. It would have been if this had been done when it was supposed to be done. You have stupid Aquaman and his stupid ass Hook and his dumb barbarian look, which I hated. I want the original Aquaman look. And there were a few other things with characters. By the time these rosters pissed me off, I was just aggravated with it. I was like, yeah, it looks good. Maybe I'll buy it. But it was just kind of eh. And again, it was kind of at a lot of superhero comics were pissing me off. Scotty, thank you for being here, my friend. I really appreciate it. You have a great rest of your night, bud. So I dumped out of it. I didn't buy it. Everyone's saying it was pretty good, and I'm sure it is. And after that, later I've wanted to read it, but I was, I just see this thing, and I guess what were there 4 issues? Comic Relief Crusader, whichever was like 4 of them, maybe. Hungry Boy, I don't know. I can't stand. They were using characters that I wasn't fond of, but that was a dumb reason. Look, that's the way I was, though. So I just didn't buy it. And then I let it go, and I would see it pre-printed here and there. And I just kind of forgot about it. And then this resurfaced lately. 4, thank you. That's right. Then it always seems like there's so much more to it than 4. I guess maybe the hardcovers put a lot of other stuff in there. And again, they had those reprints for a while, then they haven't reprinted them now for a good while. That 70s rock fan, what's up, buddy? Good to see you there, brother. So I just never kind of bothered with it. And Cardleson, good to see you, bud. Yeah, D-Butt says, came out after I left comics, never saw this. Yeah, I was just kind of not really into it at that point because I didn't like the roster, like the art and everything, obviously, because it's Perez. So I've decided, just recently, in the past couple of years, I've decided, you know what, I ought to read that. What the hell? And then all of a sudden, boom, it's hard to find. You think most stuff like that's big, stays in print. But for some reason, freaking DC and Marvel didn't keep it in print, the dumbasses. So, and it's a little pricey to find the issues. So when this came up, I'm thinking that'd be cool to get that. I need to read it and review it. So eventually when I can get my hands, even if I could just get my hands on digitals of this, in fact, I want to get digitals of this. If I can get digitals of this, I'm going to review it soon. And it'll be with a fresh eye, not some nostalgic eye like, oh, I read that 20 years. Let me go back. No, this is one I really just never paid attention to. Snail Messiah says, quick question. Have anyone seen Snortopubis around lately? I've heard that he's been popped up in other chats. I haven't seen him here for a while. I guess he just maybe he doesn't like me anymore, but that's okay. I don't like me either. So I still got you guys until one day someone says, "Hey, did anybody ever see so and so?" And I go, "Oh yeah, where is he?" Well, I guess he don't like you anymore either, you a hole. And I'll go, it's only a matter of time when nobody likes me anymore. No, so I don't know, but I see Snorty on Twitter sometimes. He's fine. I mean, I think he's okay. D Bud, there you go. D Bud says, I believe I saw Snortopoopas in Culture Casino's chat this morning. Well, look, as long as he's okay, that's all I care about. He's fine. Because look, I see what you're saying. It happens sometimes. You get used to seeing certain people in chats, and then not so much. We have a dear friend of ours that we used to do these Blake 7 watch-alongs with, Alpha Omega, I believe his name was, and we don't know what happened to him. And we only knew him through, I say dear friend, because it sounds crazy, but we only knew him through Twitter, and now we can't find him. I don't know if he ever resurfaced, and that's been since December. This is a strange world. Well, he's fine. There you go. Eric K says, Snortopoopas has been in here just last week. He shows up still, just mainly no more Saturday. He is fine. Yeah, there you go. He did pop in. I was teasing. I mean, look, I see him sometimes on the twits. So long as Snorty's okay, that's the important thing. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah. So yeah, that's my weird story with that. I'm going to read it and review it soon. So let me know what you think of it. Comic Relief Crusader, if you read it. Still disgusting what those vultures are doing with it, though. No call for that. No call for that at all. Yeah. He posts over there on Twitter. No. Anyway. So, what was I looking for? What was I looking for? Man, it's something else I wanted to talk about, and I forgot to write it down. I used to keep show notes, and then I would put the show notes somewhere else and forget about it. I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. No. What you gonna do? Whoa! Look at that. No. Well, folks, I'll tell you what. I'm definitely gonna fill out the rest of the hour. But anyone else have any kind of questions or anything we could cover? Just something. Yeah, I know. For example, that '70s rock fan has some serious questions to ask me about '70s rock because he knows I'm a rock, even though, and I was in the '70s. Not only am I made of rock, as in the thing, of course. I lived every single second of the '70s, which I know he did too. Or did he? No, you're not old enough for that, are you? '70s? Well, you might be. There's a guy who what? There's a guy on YouTube who cooks things from various shows, including chefs. Oh lordy. Oh wow, you're older than me there. '70s. Dang, dude, old timer. Are you watching SCD or as well as P Hard? No, I'm suffering through P Hard, and I'll tell you my reasoning on that because I watched the first 8 or so episodes of STD back when it first came on. I couldn't take it anymore, and there's nothing to hold me there either. But because P Hard is actually has an actor from one of the old shows, and has him trashing his character of Picard. I thought that's why I gave it a look that I did in the first season, and that's why I watched that garbage. But I don't think I can do STD. I mean, one that's something you should be if you're reviewing it. I get it. 70 says denim or leather, buddy, or both. Depends. If a hot chick's wearing the leather, I'm all over that one. But if it's me, I'll just take denim. Not that they make enough of it to fit me, but Oliver says, Clobby, Star Trek Strange New World seems to focus on Captain Kirk's adventures, but it's not the same for me without William Shatner. Well, actually, and of course that we talked about it earlier. That's trash to me as well. It's fake, but they did cast someone playing Kirk. We don't know what he's going to be yet, but the show's about Pike. Not the real Pike, like Jeffrey Hunter, of course. Pop Culture Republic, good to see you, man. Not the real Pike, of course, as we were talking earlier, but to say he's not the same without William Shatner, sir, because I hear you, is as big of understatement as you could ever. To me, William Shatner is the one and only James Tiberius Kirk. Piss Pine is not Kirk. This Paul, I forget the young man's name, and it's fine. Nothing against him. I don't care. He's not Kirk. No one else will ever be Kirk but William Shatner. You could pay somebody money to act in front of a screen and call themselves and that. And by the way, I like Vic Mignogna and James Calley and all those guys too. They're not Kirk either. Trevor Cunningham. Saw the first two episodes of PR. That'll be enough for me. But I watch RLM's reviews of the rage-induced entertainment value. I'm so with you there, Trevor. And like I said, if any of you have not seen RLM's review of the first episode of P Hard, you got to see it. That was funny. But I want to see their second one too. I can't wait till their second part comes out. And by the way, isn't the new episode of that crap dropping tonight? Oh my God. Jesus, that show is so bad. Every single frame of it, is ugly and repugnant. It's just, ugh. Well, that's the interesting thing about that Pop Culture Republic. It's like you said, strange new whatever. That's what it should be called. Strange new whatevers. I thought it was that's a good one. By the way, I like that. I thought it was going to be about Pike as the first captain of the Enterprise, which he wasn't. Robert April was the first captain, but not too enthused about it. Robert April was the first captain, but I know what you mean, the captain before Kirk. Now, we know they cast Kirk to be on the someone to play Kirk. But we don't know what capacity he's going to be in. I mean, obviously, it would be ridiculous if he's on the damn ship with Pike. And if he takes over, I mean, I don't understand why they're bothering to do this. Why would you even put him there? And it's mentioned. We don't know in 100%, but we basically that the Enterprise is supposed to be Kirk's first command. In the making of Star Trek, there's been mentioned once that Roddenberry said Kirk's first command was a destroyer class ship or something. But there's nothing that's been ratified about that. Yes, Snail Messiah, that's right. Mexican Iron Man has committed to. He's been watching it. Our buddy Mexican Iron Man, who was here earlier, but I don't know. Is he? I don't think he might not be here now. But is Paulie from Latino Slant also going to be doing that? I don't know if Paulie's going to be watching. He's going to watch the first season. Pat S says Coast Con in the '90s was awesome. We'd hit Mississippi Thursday night and go home Monday morning. We had a no picking up chicks at the con. Rule me? I don't know why. What I don't know. I don't to watch your fight 25 girls for one. Oh well, for 25 guys for one girl. Well, that's funny you mentioned that, Pat S. Because my children. Well, my kids. One of my oldest made 35. She made 35 a couple of weeks ago. My youngest is going to be 33 in a couple of weeks. That's how old I am. And they would not exist if not for Coast Con, Pat. In 1985, I remember we were seeing very few women at cons at that point. I was at Coast Con in 1985 in Mississippi, Biloxi, Mississippi. Biloxi. And at the Royal d'Iberville. And there were a couple cute girls walking around in there, and all the other guys that were like looking at them, going like they were aliens or something. Like, what are they doing walking around in a key con? It was just weird. And wasn't a lot of cosplay going on back then. They were usually for the costume contest, so people just weren't really all dressed up. Anyway, I went and talked to two or three of them, and one of them I went to talking to ended up going to the video room. They used to have video rooms back then, like all throughout the night, all running Star Trek and Doctor Who and different stuff. And met her that way. I lived in Baton Rouge, 2 hours away. She lived there in Gulfport, and I started sending started being pen pals with her. Well, needless to say, she's now my ex-wife, but of course, for 9 years we were married. Not too long after that, and I have two kids because of it. So, I did not make that rule for myself, obviously, or my kids wouldn't have been born. Pat, interesting. Let's see here. I'm still. By us, I mean the entire chat of Midnight's Edge. Oh, you did read it. Okay, Comic Truth Sitter said he did read it years ago. All right, gotcha. Vic isn't Shatner, but he comes real close in my book. I did enjoy Vic playing Shatner, playing Kirk. I mean, I like those. I have nothing against Vic, and I like those Star Trek Continues fine. It's just I can't. I watch them, and they're I think the good stories. I really have a lot of admiration for the stories and the production values, but seeing any other actors play those characters is just, it's just not something that's easy for me to deal with. But if you can, more power to you, because those are fine productions. Like I said, I've been to the production to the set where they film Star Trek Continues and Starship Farragut, and it's a wonderful, lovely place. We all thought it would be fun to watch Polly suffer. That's my boy Polly. You guys don't want my boy Polly to suffer. Come on now, we love Polly, man. Latino Slant is a dear friend of Clobberin Times, because he's the first friend I made when I moved over to YouTube a couple of years ago now, a little year and a half, whatever. It was Paulie. That's my boy right there. So I don't want my boy Paulie to suffer. I did not dress as a Klingon. I acted like one though. J.T. Cook, I acted like a Klingon. I had to run in with some Klingons one time at once in the 90s with two idiot Klingons dressed up like heavy metal Klingons. I went to get on the escalator, and there goes Grace Lee Whitney getting on the escalator in front of me, and I just go to walk on there. I didn't even realize it was her until I look back at a Klingon tried to jump in front of me. I swear to God, he said, "You will wait," and he tried to push me. Well, I'm a fairly big dude, even then. Well, I pushed him back out of my way. I said, "You won't get your hand off of me," and I get on the escalator anyway, and pushed him aside. Then he and his buddy get on right behind me. They're both dressed like those stupid heavy metal looking Klingons, and I'm looking back at him, and I'm giving him an eye. Saying, "You got something to say?" We get to the top of the escalator stuff, and I'm just looking at him like, "You got a problem, boy?" And his buddy says, "No, you don't understand. We're con security." I said, "Really? Where are your badges? You look more like con insecurity to me." And they just kind of walked off. The guy was looking like he was like going to piss on himself. So you dress like a Klingon. Don't start fights, buddy. Don't let your mouth write checks that your buddy can't cash, bitch. And it's like trying to push me off the escalator. Screw you, punk. So yeah, that's my Klingon story for the con. So just because they're dressed like Klingons doesn't mean they are Klingons. We are Klingons. We'll transfer our flag there. Most show it you. Anyway. But it was Grace Lee Whitney, by the way, and that's what pissed me off the most. I was like, I wasn't going to talk to her or anything, but it's like I was just, wow, I'm on an escalator riding up behind Grace Lee Whitney, but I got to deal with these numbnuts. Oh, anyway, Hungry Boy says, I'm with Clobby on other Kirks, but Star Trek Continues got the lighting right, which was so distinctive. Look, their production was amazing. Absolutely. Alex James, I concur. Paulie is a great man, and I love him. He's a good buddy. JT says, I apologize. I misspoke. Your Plymouth minivan be hauled away as garbage. Thank you, JT. Yeah, the 80s, going to cons in the 80s and even the early 90s was something, dude, really was. Snail? Yeah, it was no, I mean, I wasn't trying to be a tough guy. The guy pushed me first, and unlike, you hear a lot of stories, and I relate because I'm as big a geek as any of us about geeks who get bullied and stuff. But say I'm a pretty big guy, not as, even though I wasn't as big back then as I am now, just physically, but I was always a big guy, played football and stuff, and it didn't happen to me because even though I didn't care who knew I loved comics or Star Wars and stuff. Uh, it's just a weird fact of life that if you're big, no one's going to mess with you. And so I didn't have that problem, which is not fair to the people who did have that problem, because many friends of mine did. And because I love the things so much, because I always love superheroes, when I saw little guys getting picked on, I wanted to be the superhero. So I wanted to be the one to take care of them all the time. So a bitch dressed as a Klingon trying to push me off an escalator to jump in front of me. That ain't happening. But they looked intimidating to most people. They were big in their damn outfits. So it wasn't like I was trying to be a tough guy or anything. I was like, look, dude, don't run around thinking you're really a Klingon, asshead. You just look like an idiot. And the costumes were fine. I mean, I guess, but you're a Klingon, so you think you're going to, and he talks, you will wait. He tried to look at his talk like a costume. Like, dude. And again, I was a lot younger then. And so when I was a lot younger then, I probably would have dealt with it differently now today, but I dealt with it, and probably I was a bit of an a-hole to the guy going up that long escalator trip up to the top of the second floor of, what was that? It was the Hyatt at Dragon Con. But it was a crazy time. And no, probably I wasn't very nice to the guy, but he started it, so screw him. I mean, he's lucky. He lucky didn't try that on a redneck. I guess he thought he was he could push anyone around, but yeah. And by the way, they weren't security. I checked. I went over there and checked. No, they're not. You're not secure. You're insecure. Get out of here. Mr. Angel said, "Listen, I wouldn't want to watch Picard, but I want to see Polly's face when he sits there together with Max and Iron Man watching the show. Who knows? He might like it. Polly might think it's the greatest show ever. You never know, guys. Con stories. Don't you just love them? Crazy. Most of the cons I went to in the 90s were just comic book and toy conventions. Yeah, I burned out on cons, to be honest with you now, but they were a lot of fun back then. I would just have said, be careful, Klingon. I'm your worst nightmare. I am dressed as a Tribble. I wish if I would dress as a Tribble, I would have made that noise. I can't even do it. I would have made the squeaky noise at him, though. And he would have been, oh no, Tribbles. Well, there'd be no Tribble at all. Yes. Kal-El says, you should have looked them right in the eye and said, perhaps today is a good day to die. I did say, Mouse, Choi Chu. Maybe I didn't say that. I may have said that because I used to like to say that a lot. I can't remember now. The guy who did Kirk on the animated series was spot on. He sure was. William Shatner was that. Yeah. Champion, far from champion of the geeks, but I did champion. I mean, I just couldn't stand seeing any little guy get picked on. Unless it was by me, of course. And it was a friend of mine, and he knows I was just goofing on him. Kidding. I did pick on some friends, but they deserved it because they were a-holes like me. Must have been Bob Kane. Got Bob Kane in Klingon makeup. Jim Steranko did bitch slap Bob Kane once. That's true, by the way. Not true. It's funny how you say stuff that's true. Like I was there. Yeah, no, it's a story going around that Jim Steranko and others have said, and others have corroborated, is the way I should put that. But yeah. Their disruptors were probably real, I'm sure. He could have vaporized me at any time, I'm sure. You realize you disgraced those Klingons, and now their family must live with the dishonor of 3 generations. Yes, I did disgrace them. The guy was kind of shaking like he wanted to kick my ass, but oddly enough, my ass was there long enough for him to kick it, and he didn't. Strange, isn't it? I could have cosplayed as the real Thor when I was younger. Now I can cosplay. Hey, Snail Messiah, I'm right there with you, duder. JD Lewis, good to see you, my friend. Snail, I feel you, partner. Same here. Pop culture. Republic says the first Wizard World Con that came to Austin was in the convention center. They underestimated the size of the geekdom in Austin and didn't have enough space. Rented the convention center. That's happened a lot at a lot of cons I've been to. I've been going to cons since 1982, I guess. And Alex James says, I would love to have seen Bob Kane get the Robin slapped out of him. Well, Steranko did that for all of us. I don't know if I ever told you all about a con called Pensacon, which is Pensacola, Florida. I went to the very first one. That was 2014, so it wasn't that long ago. It's in, I kid you not. I want to see if you guys, you've all been to cons. I want to see if you guys think this is, what you think of this as a venue for a con. Because I'm not kidding. It sounds crazy. It was in a hockey rink stadium, not even pro hockey, because they don't have a pro hockey team there. It was a semi-pro hockey team, a second backbencher, not an NHL team, in Pensacola, Florida. It's called Pensacon. Almost all the events were being held in. There was a Crown Hotel next to it, fairly walking distance. The ice rink, down on the ice rink were the dealers, and they had like these big planks over the ice, believe it or not. And of course, you had the stadium. Fans could go in out and sit in there. And then in the hallways of the corridors of the stadium were most of the signing events and what have you, and some of the panels. And a few extra panels were held at the hotel, but not many. So it was that was the first year they had it. I was there the first year. It could have been worse. It could have been a pair of Nausicaans cheating at Domjot. Yes, that would have been fun. Oh, shite. Yes, and it was a hockey rink. So anyway, it was a lot of fun. I got to hang out with the great Parker Stevenson. They had a bunch of some people from Battlestar Galactica there. Ernie Hudson was there. Dirk Benedict was there, and they had some comic book people there, of course. It was pretty cool. I went with my buddy, my retro blasting buddies, Michael and Melinda, and I went there in 2014. We met there and hung out the whole time. My favorite thing about that con was hanging out with them. We had a lot of fun together. So so that was the first Pensacon. I went back a couple of years later with another friend of mine, and it had grown so much you couldn't move around that thing. Now they have no venues. Half the events now are downtown. You have to ride a bus to them. From what I've heard they still do it at the same hockey rink thing because there's nothing in city big enough. But the thing has grown; it's huge because people like cons, and yet now you have to wait like 2 hours to get down to the little tiny dealer's room down there on the hockey rink. From what I hear, I've only been a few times. I don't go much, but they just had it again a couple weeks ago. Yep, it is a damn hockey rink. It's weird. JT says hockey rinks aren't ideal for those gatherings, but for the first year, it's not that bad. Yeah, it was okay that one year. Now, if they only put wood planks over the ice, they're going to need lots of passes with the Clobberin. Yes. It was just like wood. It was wood planks. You could feel the cold coming up from the ice, and that was the dealers there. Only dealers. Now, like I remember when I went a couple years later, they couldn't let everybody down on the floor. Now the Dome would be a great place, but Pat, I want to do one in the Dome. Call it New Orleans SuperCon. Well, they do have WizardCon down there. They have I've been at car shows. Now they have a big old convention center. I tell you, I went to a con back in 1990, the greatest one I ever went to, because it was the second time I got to meet and hang out with Jack Kirby at CNN Center in Atlanta. That was fantastic. The big World Congress Center next to it, where all the ads and all most of the events took place. That was a great one. But yeah, usually it's better at a hotel. So yeah, what are you gonna do? Well, what are you gonna do? Well, my friends, I've kept you here long enough. I hope you're all having I'm having just a wonderful time sitting here talking to you. You're all fantastic to hang out with me like this, just for me uttering, going on about nonsense and being ridiculously uninteresting, but that's what I do. What can I tell you? But you're all fantastic, and I really appreciate you here. You clobberers are the best. Tomorrow night, it'll be Cloudy's Clubhouse. I'm hoping if Raquel's feeling better, she will make it. Mark C cannot make it tomorrow night. He's got family stuff going on, but we'll get them all back next week. But we'll hopefully we'll see. But either way, whether they can be here or not, I will be here in the clubhouse because that's just that's the way we roll. So I want to thank. Let's see if I could get everybody. The Comic Relief Crusader, thank you so much for being here, brother, and thank you for all your participation. Oliver Belamonte, thank you for being here. Pat S, brother, thank you. Hungry Boy, appreciate you, buddy. Thank you so much. The great Eric K and the great Chris Persia, thank you so much for being here, friends. Stale Messiah, thank you so much, buddy. Appreciate you. Pop Culture Republic, thank you for being here. JT Kirk, great to see you. I really appreciate you being here. Kal-El, buddy. Thanks, man. Thank you so much for being here, my friend. I really appreciate you. Alex James, thank you. It was always great to see you, sir. Thank you for being here. Six was here earlier. I don't know if she still is, but love you, Six. Thank you so much. JD Lewis, it's always a pleasure to see you, and always a pleasure to see you, Mr. Angel. And Matthew Pounder, thank you so much. The great D. Bud Martin, buddy. Thank you for being here, man. I appreciate you so much. Let's see here. Forgot who else we got that are friends that are here. I backtrack a little bit. This thing does hold everybody. But let's see. Okay. Oop, it popped back to the beginning there. Was Eric Carroll here? I didn't spot Eric. But I see you tagging him, Eric. So Eric Carroll, thank you for being here. Good to see you. If I missed anybody, it's only because I didn't see him, folks. Or if it's been so long since I saw him earlier. But I'm trying to backtrack as much as I can, just in case. Because I like to acknowledge everybody when I can. I hate it when I forget. Trevor Cunningham, thank you for being here. That's 70s Rock fan, buddy. Need to get you on one of these days again, bud, and hang out and talk. Appreciate you, man. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Let me see. Yeah, we've got some more friends. Yeah, let's do. Let's see. Cardinal Sin, of course. Thank you, Cardinal Sin, brother, for being here. Thank you for your wonderful contribution. I appreciate you. Thank you for your contributions. You're a good buddy. Let's see here. Almost. I think I got most of us. Keely Chow was here. Roll Tide, Keely Chow. Thank you. Scotty R37. Thank you so much, my friend. Appreciate you. So I got to backtrack because this thing only goes so far. I mean, it goes all the way back, but it only takes forever to get there. And I have the world's crappiest memory. So thanks to all of you. If I see anyone else on here. Oh, Mexican Iron Man was here earlier, of course. I'm honored. The great Mexican Iron Man, buddy. I know you're a busy, busy man, but thank you. One of these days I want to get you on to come hang out with me, man, just to talk about how much you love the Flash. Because I know you do. I mean, you like to kid around and say you don't, but we all know you do. Apollome's Minion was here. Apollomy, love you. Thank you. Dave was here. Dave, thank you, Dave, for popping in, man. Sorry. Let's see here. And I'm going to take a chance that I didn't miss anybody. I hope I didn't, but I've been keeping y'all here. Because this chat's got quite a bit. Again, thank you for J25. See, and Zach's was even here earlier. Wow. Larry was here. So you got to go back far to find him there. And I just hope I didn't miss anybody, but because you guys have been fantastic. So cool. I don't want it to end. J-Man, thank you, J-Man and Decepticon. Thank you, Comic Relief Crusader, for that help. I appreciate you, bro. I am evil. You're right. That is true. But we all knew that, didn't we? I'm evil. Yeah, dude, I don't want to go. I don't know what I'm going to do. And then when I get off there, there won't be anything to do. I'll have to go find space because I can't get to sleep till 4 a.m. So, but I'll, who knows? Maybe I'll start a 2 in the morning stream one of these days. I don't know. But I'll go watch. What will I watch? I don't know what you guys. What do you guys are watching tonight? If you can't sleep, I can't sleep. You know what I'm going to do? This is pathetic. This is pathetic, but this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go watch something. And no, I can't be a grown up and go watch some hot, slick new TV series that so many people rave about these days. Or I can't be a grown up and go watch some old. I'm going to either watch an old Doctor Who again, or I might, I've been watching the old Incredible Hulk TV cartoon from the late 90s. JT Kirk says, I'm on my first ever run of B5, still on season 1. Oh, fantastic. I envy you. I got to start that back up again one of these days. Cool. Comic Relief Crusaders watching Chuck. I believe that's what he means there. That's a good show. Hello, chat. I watched the first 4 episodes of Squid Games and really liked them, says that 70s. Way too mature for me. Web of Fear. Great episode. Isn't that incomplete? Or they never finished it, but they linked it with animated, right? Tom, I hope Tom will be on at 3 a.m. Yeah, I hope so. Let's see, I've been watching Tron Uprising. Pleasant Valley Picker, hello there. Good to see you. I've been watching Tron Uprising, cool series. If you're I'm a fan of the original Tron movie. I didn't like the sequel, Tron Legacy, which I was really disappointed by pop culture, but I might try Tron Legacy one of these days. I could also recommend a Korean show called Vincenzo. I got you. I'm like I said, I'm so pathetic. I'm probably gonna go watch. I have the codes to. I hate Disney Plus, but I do have the codes to it. Hey, Matthew Pounder. Great, cool, man. Naked Time, love it. Great one. Doctor Who 63 to 86. There you go. Eric Carroll, I'm with you. I've been watching some Peter Davison episodes, and I've been watching, like I said, the Incredible Hulk cartoon from the late 90s, the second season, which is really silly, dopey stuff where he shared the show with She-Hulk. They had Doctor Strange on an episode. It's a goofy show, but it's kind of fun to watch. It's got Gray Hulk and Green Hulk. It's not much left of it to go. I went in the second season, but I don't know. I'm 12 years old. I want to watch cartoons now. Space 1999. That's a good one there. Comic Relief Crusader. Nobody Johnson's New Zealand show. North Gods. In Human Form. There you go. Fledge Valley said, Clobby, ever watched the Avengers Imappeal episodes? I have the Imappeal Mega set, Pleasant. I love the whole series. I even love Tara King episodes and the Kathy Gale episodes, but I have the Imappeal Mega set. I adore it. I love that show, and I love John Steed and Imappeal very much. They're releasing the animated recreation of the Doctor Who story Galaxy 4 next month here in the States. Yes. That is a William Hartnell episode, I do believe. Not the 10 billionth Doctor, the first freaking Doctor. So there you go. Yeah, I'm in a bit of a Doctor Who mood as well. See, I've already watched my episodes of Trek to review this week. So, yeah. I remember Voyagers. I haven't seen it in a long time. Rereading Darwin Cook's Parker comics. Shane Black is going to revive the character. Oh, cool. Darwin Cook we lost him way too soon. Great artist. I'm getting heartburn from my mom's fantastic jambalaya she made tonight. It was great, but boy, it's killing me now. Oh, I think I ate too much of it. So anyway, well, thank you so much, my friends. I hope whatever you're watching, literally like whatever you're watching tonight, you can rest assured. I don't know about you, but I'm watching. I always watch stuff alone because I am alone. But whatever you're watching tonight, rest assured, I'm watching something right at the same time you are probably. Usually I'm not. Usually I'm in front of this damn thing, messing with stuff for the show and all that stuff. But I got to force myself to get out of this desk sometimes. So, yes, jambalaya and boy, that was some good jambalaya my mom made tonight. Adam Adamant. I watched those. I need to go back and watch some more of those. They're all on YouTube. I think I watched them all, but I'm not sure. It's been a couple of years. But I love Adam Adamant. That's great stuff, Hungry Boy. 60 Ciderman is always welcome. Absolutely, buddy. I love it. The whole series is great, but let's face it, Emma's the best. Oh, look, I'm with you. Pleasant. Emma's the best. I love her. All right, my friends. Well, tomorrow night we will be back here, same Trek time, same. Well, no, it's Trek this Saturday night. Tomorrow night, Clobby's Clubhouse, same Clobby time, same Clobby channel. Until then, folks, thank you so much for being here with me, my friends. I appreciate you. I will play us out with this little advert for my wonderful friend Raquel. Let's hope she feels better. So I'll wish her better. And then the ending credits there. And thank you. All have a fantastic night. Thanks for hanging out with me, my friends. It's been great. You guys just don't know what you mean to me. Like, hanging out like this, it may not sound like much, just talking, but just talking to you guys, it's fantastic for me. I really appreciate you and cannot thank you enough. Good night, buddies.